Do you ever feel tempted to just leave the problem till later? It's a bad idea on a boat. I'm Carolyn Sherlock, and on this episode of the Boat Galley Podcast, I'll share why you don't want to wait to solve little problems on board. This episode of the Boat Galley Podcast is sponsored by YugoWear. Yugo is the only waterproof floating phone case using dry suit zipper technology. Invest in your safety, because if you don't protect, you can't connect. Your phone is fully functional, and there's plenty of room for your keys, cash, and cards. To get the only dry bag on the market with zero phone fails, visit www.yugowear, that's UGOWEAR.com, and use promo code BG20, that's BG20, for 20% off your order. Yugo, prepare for adventure. I'm about 2 hours late in even sitting down to record this podcast today. As I was starting to make coffee this morning, I detected just a hint of a funky smell. And if there's one thing that I know, it's that problems don't cure themselves. They only get worse. When we started cruising Catal, our first cruising boat, we knew this. But we didn't really know it in our hearts, in the core of our being. A tiny problem didn't necessarily give us a sense of urgency. It was something that went on the to-do list. Before the first month was out, we had changed the way we did things. See a drop of water in an unexpected place? At first, we'd just wipe it up. We learned to find out why it was there. Those couple of drops under the water maker might have been a hint that a connector was about to break in two and put a steady stream of salt water all over the settee. A funky whiff coming from the hammock of veggies should have been investigated before the flying insects found the rotten potato. Finding a Gatorade bottle with a loose cap should have encouraged me to check the bottom of the refrigerator before the goo became moldy. Enough examples. You get the picture. And sometimes you can't totally fix the problems immediately, particularly if you need parts that aren't your spares. But if you know about the problem, you can take steps to prevent it from getting worse or having a domino effect. And you can at least get the parts ordered. Admittedly, it's usually not convenient to investigate the cause of a problem immediately. It wasn't for me this morning. I had this podcast to record. I had posts to write. And I really just wanted to sit down and watch the water and the birds with my cup of coffee. I didn't feel like taking everything out of a blocker and cleaning something up. It turned out to be an onion that was bad. Very bad. But if I hadn't dealt with it, the bugs would have. And they would have told all of their little bug friends about it. And in a day or two, we would have had an infestation. Little flying bugs, ants, cockroaches, and other ickies. Yeah, that would have been a lot worse to deal with. So we have a rule now. When one of us sees, smells, or senses something off, it gets investigated immediately. Not just in the galley, but anywhere. Once we know what the problem is, we can decide if it has to be corrected immediately. Usually the answer is yes. Or if something else has priority. Problems that cause fire, sinking, or collision call for immediate action. Thanks for listening to the Boat Galley Podcast. Subscribe now so that you never miss an episode.